Okay, so I'm updating my studies. Not that I meant to get bit by a snake, you know. You can't run through the woods and swing on the trees on the way down a cliff. Or, well, like, it's not really a cliff, just a really steep hill, you know. Just, just a really steep hill. You can't do that if you're looking for snakes, you know. So, I mean, like, to run through the woods like you were a kid again, you know, you gotta be careful about snakes. So, in my most recent video, I messed up my words about 3 times. The reason medical professionals don't tell people about this is because it's such a long story. And like me, I messed up my words a few times. For one, in the latest video, a non-venomous snake has 2 fat lips, but all snakes, just like bees, become more venomous with hotter, drier conditions. So, a non-venomous snake, it's got 2 fat lips. Like the half venomous snake has, you know, the rat teeth on top and then the fat lip on the bottom. Okay, a non-venomous snake has 2 fat lips on the top and the bottom. But you get hot flashes for, you know, about a week. I mean, you get a fever, you know, you get like, you don't know what's going on, but you know you're like, something's wrong, okay? And it's like, of course, I was drinking beer and I had a snake on my arm, you know, and I was just like, oh yeah, you want to bite? Ha ha. Smack! Ah, don't do that, you know? Just kind of sitting around with a 6-pack of 16 ounces or something. That's my favorite snake. The king prairie snake, let him bite at me all the time because, you know, you just can't, snakes get a hold of you sometimes. I mean, you know, so, I've been bit 4 times now. And the second one, they sent me to the mental hospital. I had blood clots coming out of my nose. They didn't, you know, really know. It wasn't qualified. You know, they were just like nurse assistants. Alright, so on the 3rd snake bite, no, on the 4th snake bite, I didn't record it on YouTube, or I posted it on Facebook. Okay, so like, for them to get the Power Man 5000 excuse, you know, that was like, oh yeah, we're protecting medical secrets. But what they don't understand is what I just said. You know, this is a hard conversation to get perfect every single time. And all snake bites are different. It's like I was thinking, you know, like in the last video, I was watching it over again, and now, you know, I started to say, if you got snake bit on the hand, you know, you would need to make a smaller suction syringe and scrape your finger. But then, like, I was also thinking, like, what if you just kind of tied off your finger and popped in a staple like I did on the third snake bite. That was the 3rd snake bite. The second one, I used a suction syringe. I didn't have any anti-venom. The second one, I didn't have any anti-venom. I used a suction syringe. But on the 3rd one, and the second one were the same, but I didn't get sent to the mental hospital, and I didn't have blood clots coming out of my nose because I actually went and got some vodka. 100. Okay. And the 4th snake bite, I had anti-venom, and ibuprofen, because ibuprofen is inflammatory. If you get a headache, you know, the first sign of a tick bite is a headache, and you get that headache, and you take some Advil or some ibuprofen, it works. And I mean, it seems like, the dehydrated form of anti-venom. So, on the fourth snake bite, I broke my spine. I mean, like, everything, like, started out, like, just an awkward day. A really awkward day. Okay, I'll just admit it, like, I was like, hey, Dad, can I borrow your gun to go up and, shoot a deer? I'll be back in 20 minutes. Tag out for the whole year, He's like, no. And I'm like, oh, come on, please. And he's like, no. And I was like, all right, well, what else can I do? I've got chickens now. Okay, so I've got some chickens. Why would I need to go, shoot a couple 100 pounds of meat whenever I can just eat a chicken or two or eat some eggs? 50 cents a day, you get 10 eggs a day. Hey, it's a good investment. You get your money back, right? So there's a bunch of buzzards flying around my chickens. And I'm like, okay, so I grabbed the shotgun and I'm going right out the door with it. And Mom's like, whoa, Chris, no, don't go out there. You can't go out there, Chris. I'm like, wow, there's a bunch of chickens. Look at those buzzards circling our chickens. I was like, I'm going to go shoot them. And she's like, no, don't go out there. Don't go out there. And I'm like, why not? I mean, why not? So then I turn around with this big shotgun, I'm like, why not? Why not? I gotta turn around here, and oh shit, there's a big cop car sitting in my driveway, and I'm like, oh fuck, so I'm like, I put the shotgun behind my head, behind my arm, I'm like, hi, how are you, and okay, let me put this away here, because I mean, like, he knows I'm not gonna draw. He ain't even out of the car yet, because, I mean, he can see the barrel sticking up, so, I mean, he should be cool about it. Like, oh, shit, I didn't even see you there. So then I'm like, fuck. I leave the shotgun in the house. All right, leave it alone here, And then I walk back outside. I'm like, well, where the hell did he go? Is he going to be back? I mean, shit, I'll talk to him. Is he going to be back or not? Well, I probably should just leave the gun in the house like Mom said, And then I'm like, well, I'm going to go talk to Peanut Butter, So I get, I make her like a little peanut butter drink, She does like peanut butter, she does. So, like, I just decided, I was like, hey, you know what? I'll get her out of the stall and let her eat some grass anyway, She's a good horse. She's almost pretty much broke for riding. I mean, like, at the time, I was like, she is broke for riding. But then, so I got her out, and I put her in this little ring outside, and then I was like, I climb up on the fence, and I was sitting there, and I started petting her back, scratching her back. And then she puts her back over, and she's like, hey, like, oh. I thought she was saying, oh, yeah, you want to ride? I was just scratching her back, and she liked it. So I got the wrong impression, and so I just kind of like stuck my foot right over on her back, and stepped across, and I was just sitting on her, and I started scratching her back, and she's just like, oh, and she's like walking or whatever. And then she gets up to this big briar patch, and she sees the gate all around. She does the same thing, she did whenever we first started putting her in the stall, right? And she starts jumping up and down on her feet. I'm like, oh, fuck, if you're going to do this, you're going to go over that briar patch right there. I'm just like, I'm getting out of here, So I'm like, I can jump off from right here. I was like, yeah, I want to try that. So I threw my leg up, and came right back. I had these heavy boots on. I came right back down on my hind end. I was 50 pounds heavier than I was normally, And my fat pants fell off the other day, so that was really good. I got put in jail or whatever whenever I had a 5-gallon barrel of anti-venom. And they arrested me for walking down the road with unopened beer in my backpack. Just, no. We're just going to give you a PI because you're out here, just being assholes. I mean, like, the older guys, they arrested me a couple times and I was drunk. These new guys, I'm just not even going to mention anything about them they're a disgrace to the police force. You know, one of them runs around saying he's bisexual whenever he's just a cocksucking faggot. Anyway, so the point is, you know, yeah. The only reason he's got titties in a dick is because he's a fat son of a bitch. So, I am going to light a cigarette on that note. Shit. I mean, I hate to say that about anybody, but I mean, I told that fat bastard not to be following me. You know, like, you're queer, we're going to college together, just stay the fuck out of my way. Just stay the fuck away from me. You know, that's what I told him in college. And anyway, let's get back to the point, you know, snake bites. Okay, so on the fourth snake bite, I had anti-venom, and I'd take 1,000 milligrams of ibuprofen, wait 30 minutes, and take a shot of one of those little sample bottles. You know, that's what I had. I've only got one left. You know, but I had like 7 or 8 at the time, and I took like 5 shots because I had to do that 5 days in a row because like I start getting this cramp, like, you know, and it's like, you know, I could like, it's not all in my cerebral cortex, it's just like right here, you know, it's a blood clot. So I took 1,000 milligrams of ibuprofen, and I just took like one little sip of anti-venom. And I mean, it's pretty close to Tavarsky, you know, 100. But that's if the medical office doesn't bottle that correctly. They don't bottle it. They don't even bottle it. So they end up with a whole bunch of, you know, like vodka. It's anyway. So I'm not gonna. I shouldn't even speculate. But I mean, the first time that I did get bit by a snake and they like injected me with, you know, anti-venom, then I just like, I was like, oh cool. At first, you know, I was like, oh cool, my legs are, you know, back down to normal size. He's like, can you walk now? I was like, yeah, I can walk now. And so I got up and I was walking, and I just said the first thing that came to my mind, you know, I was just like holding on to that little IV thing, and I was like, thank you, Lord, that I'm not gonna die today. And then about that time, all that blood, you know, the circulation opened up and all that blood going to my head. I was just like, boom. Like, they grabbed me or whatever, but I mean, like, I would have just smashed the back of my head on the concrete, you know, floor if they hadn't caught me, but they caught me. And then I pissed on myself because I don't know why. So, in my most recent video, the 18 minutes and 32 seconds, okay, first thing I said was, I accidentally said a non-venomous snake has, no, I said a fully venomous snake has 2 fat lips. No. Maybe it's kind of good that it did because it varies with hot and dry conditions. And like, they say you can't always go by the fact that they've got dots in their eyes and you know, and not, you know. So, and they, you know, a lot of people talk about dry bites. It's like whenever the snake doesn't get all the way through your skin, or it's after a really big rain, and we have made rain with anti-venomous tree alcohol, or something like that. Maybe just a bunch of ibuprofen. I worry about using alcohol to make any kind of condensation. But, like, the second thing, or the third thing I said was, they would have to, like, for my body weight, I'm 155 pounds. They used a syringe a little bit bigger than a nickel. I accidentally said needle. So yeah, I think that's about it. That's all said. And like if you got bit on the hand, you'd need to make a syringe, a smaller suction syringe, and scrape that 90-degree scrape, perpendicular to the epidermis. So yeah, like finally got a job, gotta fix my car, can't figure out why it's overheating, and then I lost my license for like 5 years, so that slowed me down too. Got a job and they pretty much just robbed me. The people around here, man, this ain't no jobs around, so it's like they'll hold you down to take your shit, you know what I'm saying? For real. No questions asked, play stupid the whole way, and they will steal your shit just like that. Legally. Because they got like a half retarded judge. But I shouldn't say that. The new judge is not half retarded, I don't think. Took him a while to figure out that paper to get me to the hospital, though. 3 months. My fucking head swelled up. So I was working in a log yard. And this is the next experience with anti-venomous soap. Okay? Hibiclens. This is anti-venomous soap. But it's like it's got fucking wax in it. You see that shit? It's like it's got wax in it. This is highly congested. And it's congestive to your veins, all that. But especially to your digestive tract. Okay? So whenever they first locked me up, I was working in a log yard. And it's like, it's like a CNC machine, You get these logs, they drop them down in there, and then these, bam, center point, And then they, spin the log, and they peel out this whole log like, you're just with a little pencil sharpener, just about 1/8 of an inch thick, usually. Well, you think about all the bugs, all the little holes that are up and down that log, all the worms, all the bugs, just peel right out on it. So I'm taking, this little piece of wood, and I'm flipping it up. Reach over here, hit my counter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Or so, it's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, anyway, I was packing extra, and I was making it easier on the guys on down the line. Well, people. So I reach over and I grab my cup because Ace Hardware fucked up again and gave me a cup. The lid didn't close on it. And then there's fucking bugs and shit all over my cup, and I just turn it up and I fucking take I'm missing, there's a couple pieces of wood missing, So I just turn it up and I wham, But the normal cup that they sell, it's just like a little baby bottle. It's like nothing. You can't work your ass off if you ain't got nothing to drink. So I told him, I was like, this, the cup, this ain't the cup that they had, but I said, this is not the cup of a champion. So I told him, now I brought in that big, wild cup. Real good coffee cup. The biggest thing they had, pretty much, or the biggest one I've seen in a while. Metal. Real good coffee cup. sealed on the inside so it didn't leak. You know, it was really good design. But there was just that one little piece missing that kept the lid, let the lid just flop open, back and forth, you know. So, I mean, like, whenever I picked it up, I had to grab the top of the lid, you know, and then turn it up, you know. So I ate I ate a spider, and, like, drank a cricket or some shit. And I can feel this fucking thing going down, doing circles in my stomach, you know, spinning a web. So I'm just like, fuck, I gotta drink this weekend. I'm gonna have to drink this weekend, definitely, you know. So, like, I knocked it out of the, you know, the main stomach area, and I knocked it down to right here, you know, just because, like, a couple weekends, like, and they arrested me on one weekend I was trying to drink. I was walking back to my house with unopened beer, and I was stopping to get a pizza, and they fucking arrested me for not for stopping to get a pizza, but because, you know, I didn't take my normal route, you know, and just, like, walk straight out of town. I was going to get a pizza. They're like, oh, nope, we're going to give you an AI right now. And that little stupid ass, I've seen him running around with a fake name tag and a fake badge. I mean, and that's why the older judge retired. I'm pretty sure that's why he retired. He's just like, I can't put up with this shit no more. I mean, cops are lying to me, you know, and he's sitting there looking at me, and I'm like, I have always told you the truth. You know, and he knows me. So, anyway, he's just sitting there looking like a monkey from Iraq, because he is kind of an Iraqi nationalist. Anyway, so $5,000 cash, and then they got my parents to throw away all the anti-venom, and, you know, I was just like, I told my team leader, I was like, I have to leave tonight. Can you let me leave early tonight? He said, it'll count as one against you, you know, one occurrence against you. I was like, well, I said, that'll be okay. I was like, but I have to drink or I'm going to die. You know, I'm really concerned for my life if I don't leave right now and get something to drink. Because the cops arrested me last weekend, man. I mean, I've got something in my stomach. So, like, even though it was my second occurrence, he actually, you know, he's like, we're going to have to fire you for safety reasons, Chris, you know. And I'm just like, well, shit. You know, we're going to have to explain this later, you know, because I've been doing too good, you know. So I left. And I walked downtown to the store, and he caught up with me on a bicycle. And then he's like, walked out of there, and he's holding his bag. It's heavy. Wow, he's got a six-pack, but, you know. So maybe that was why they fired me for safety reasons. I'm not so sure. Because I had beer in the parking lot while, you know, my brother was working. So, anyway, I had to get out of there and get some beer or I was going to die. That's what I was thinking. You know, they arrested me for having unopened beer in my backpack. Took the first $5,000 that I had saved up in 5 years. You know, really disgraceful, pathetic shit. And I'm like, give me a breathalyzer right now. He's like, nope. The one who says he's bisexual, you know, he's not bisexual. He's just a fat ass cocksucker with titties, like, because he's so fat. Give me a drug test. Give me a mouth swab. Give me a cup to piss in. You know, so anyway, so I took this shit is so powerful and so congestive, okay? Hibiclens. But, like, if you've got, like, a bug in your stomach, you can deplete its oxygen. Like I had a spider spinning circles right here, okay? When I first got in jail, I started drinking everything I could, just, soap. What kind of soap is this? Yeah, it's alright, state soap, okay. The modern day lye soap, I'm sure it's pretty smooth, won't burn your skin at all. And so I was like, and so I mixed it with water before, and I would just take this little bottle right here and an L8 bottle, like a 16-ounce L8 bottle. And those little grooves in the bottom, just one little groove, maybe halfway full, maybe almost all the way full, one of those little grooves. And then I'd mix it up with, like 16 or maybe 20. It might be 16 or 20, I can't remember. But anyway, it doesn't matter. 20 would be better, 20 ounce would be better. Get a little more liquid in there, so, but to take soap and drink it, that depletes their oxygen. So after I got home and I got some beer and I finally got home, after I was left work, I soaked some beer and I ate some pizza, and I shit out some big fucking cringed up thing. Looks like he's cringed up like this right here. It's fucking big as my thumb. You know what I'm saying? And, I shit that out, and I was like, okay, I can quit drinking for a few days. So I quit drinking for a couple days, And then I had, I started feeling something wiggle again, like, oh, no, wait, I'd already shit something out. So I was like, maybe I can quit drinking for a few days. And I was like, oh, wait, what about, like, an egg sac or some shit, right? So after I got in jail, about 3 weeks later, something fucking... I can feel this thing going up. I can feel it behind my I can feel one behind my nose. I can feel like one like crawling up through here and wiggling like the, just I feel one behind my nose, like one behind one ear, one behind the other ear. And took me a while to get all this shit out, you know what I'm saying? But I feel okay. I don't feel... Because, I was in 3rd grade, I ate an earthworm, and they had to, cut it out of me, and it was like, So, I know, I can feel shit in me, and it's just like eating fruit off the pear trees. You can't eat something that's fell on the ground. You gotta eat something that's still on the tree, you know what I'm saying? So, I know, when something's in my stomach flipping around like a little caterpillar, you know what I'm saying? And so I had this fucking thing spinning circles right there on my, right on my liver, above my liver and below my liver maybe. But anyway, so 3 or 4 weeks after I got out of jail, or no, after I got put in jail, 3 or 4 weeks after I got put in jail, they hatched out. And one of them crawled out of my ear, and I had these little bite marks. Bam. I had these little bite marks. Bite, 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 bite. 4 times. Bam, bam, bam. And then it crawled out of my ear. And I'm talking on the phone trying to order some food, and this little spider, crawls out, of the phone. And I'm like, hey, I talked to this other guy. I'm like, hey, you want me to dial you in? And I'm like, I'll dial you out, And he's like, yeah, thank you, because, he's a young guy, he ain't got money or whatever. So I'm just like, okay, I dial his number. I'm like, here you go, So then he's like, hey, Chris, look, come here, look here. 30 seconds later, you know what I'm saying? There's a spider on the wall, right beside the phone, you know what I'm saying? Just going down the wall. And his ass is full of blood. You can see his whole stomach, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, I've still got a scar from that. I'd say good and well. It was this hand. Vague. So vague. It's been a couple years. It takes a couple years for a scar to grow out of your skin. If it's just, first layer of the epidermis. Or, well, the epidermis. The outermost layer of skin. So, if you mix this with vodka or something, instead of just water, You can shake it up, and you like it's an all day drink. You don't just turn this up and drink it in 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like you sip on this just a little bit throughout the day, and like it depletes their oxygen. It paralyzes them and depletes their oxygen. But this is not the best soap to mix with vodka. Okay? You know, we're responsible for taking care of ourselves. I can understand that, you know, and for him to take so long to get the paperwork finished, I can understand that too, sort of. But, I mean, shit, dude. It's just like everybody has doubts. I know we're walking through the courthouse where everybody says stupid shit most of the time. I understand that. But, like, or well, not most of the time, a lot of times, you know, and then a lot of people just try to play silent, just like the cops did me, you know. So, this right here, you want to know the best soap to drink? I'll tell you. It's hospital hand sanitizer, Purell. That's actually the best.